presenter here. We have Jill Escher, who is the former president and now board member of the Autism Society of San Francisco and a longtime advocate. Jill, thank you so much for joining us today. And can you tell us a little bit about the Autism Society of San Francisco here? What's your mission, vision? Tell us a little bit about your board and that kind of thing, so we can get a better idea about your organization.
Sure. Hello, Steve. Thanks so much for having us. Autism Society San Francisco Bay Area has been around for uh, actually more than 55 years. We're pretty old, and um, we are a volunteer run organization serving 7 counties in the Bay Area: San Francisco County, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, and Santa Cruz counties. We are an affiliate of the national organization called Autism Society, also known as Autism Society of America. We're one of something like 70 affiliates across the country. And we do a number of things. We have resource listings, resource referrals, an information and referral committee to people who call in or email in who need some guidance and help. We host a wide variety of community events. We've kind of become known for our autism family focused events. We also do a lot of serious stuff. We've done webinar series. We've held a lot of, well, before COVID, a lot of in-person events that were informational and educational in nature with special speakers. We're also known for our annual conference with Stanford, which has been going on now, I think, for 8 years. And that conference really focuses on the needs of adults with autism, particularly legal planning, financial planning, working with regional centers, and public benefits for adults with autism and related disabilities as well. We also engage in advocacy around key issues for our community. So that would include things like, our housing crisis. It would include things like um, what parents need to, provide the care that the child needs. It includes things like regional center funding. Our current president is Stephen Pretzman, not me. And we have a very diverse board of people, most of whom are parents, but also professionals who care about this community.
Great. And I know I've attended your program at Stanford for many, many years, both as a presenter, but also I get so much out of it. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So this conference started off before everything's like pre-COVID and post-COVID, but pre-COVID, it was a live conference with about 400 attendees and something like 2 dozen speakers. It really, again, it focused not on kids, but on the adults and those teens of transition age who are about to age out of the school system and into the adult system. I think you've probably heard the term falling off the cliff, Steve. And
Yes.
that refers to, yeah, that refers to, the strong support, the mandate for a free, appropriate public education that comes before someone turns 22. But after age 22, let's face it, the school districts give them the boot and they are off into the adult system, which is woefully inadequate and very underfunded and not really capable of addressing the very complex needs of this population, which is very rapidly growing. So, what we try to do is we try to educate parents, other caregivers, professionals about the regional center system, about public benefits, about how to find a day program, how to find housing, how to think creatively about solving problems, how to obtain medical care, what to do about problem behaviors. I mean, these things are very persistent. How to set up a special needs trust, how to do financial planning. All of these things are incredibly complex, and parents always say, "Oh gosh, I think I need a PhD in autism," and it's true. So we try to give them information so that they can improve the lives of their loved ones.
That's outstanding. So, how does one, for instance, connect with the Autism Society of San Francisco? And are there opportunities to participate?
Yes. Okay. There definitely are. I think uh, maybe what I should do is tell you about just some of the easy low hanging fruit. The low hanging fruit for us are our events. So our community loves our events, and for example, we have every summer we have 10 pool parties in San Jose, and those are really big. We have a lot of people whose children and adults really can't go to regular pools because of their behaviors, but they are welcome at our pool parties. We have a year-round, um, you know, variety of hikes around the Bay Area. They're usually not very strenuous and very family friendly. We have a series called Autism on Tap, which is basically where we meet at a restaurant. Now we do it all outdoors, of course. Kind of a patio restaurant or even a bar. And it's a chance for families to get together. Most of these are all ages, and it's really fun. And it's just very social and networking in orientation. We have a series of concerts called Azure Concerts that Stephen, our president, has been putting on for years that really target families with children and adults with special needs. And those have been hugely popular. Those mostly are held at Stanford University, although not always. And then we have a lot of community partnerships, with ballets and orchestras, where sometimes what we do, it's really cool. We open up dress rehearsals to autism families. So families that couldn't take their kids to regular performance have a chance to go to these fabulous performances with their children. And that is usually provided at no or very little cost. We also do family dances, which are really fun. Again, a really fun social activity, um, you know, for everybody. And hopefully, we'll have another one at the end of the summer. But that's low. The events are kind of low hanging fruit. If you were more interested in advocacy, we really, really need more help on that front because there's such a need for policy change or such a need to bring up to speed our system with the current crisis we are facing. I can't emphasize this enough, Steve. Autism in California has exploded, and it's an absolute myth that we're just counting better, or we're just more aware, or we're just, changing definitions. None of that is true. We have endured a 50-fold increase in autism cases in our California DDS over the past 35 years. 50-fold increase. For every one case of autism in like the early 80s, we have 50 cases today. It's not even close. And it's not like the regional center is just letting anybody in the door. And we haven't yet reckoned with this dramatic growth and what it really means for the long term care of Californians who are disabled by autism. So I can't emphasize enough the need for strong advocates to join our board and to make and to help foment the change that we need. And then also, if you're interested, just sign up for our newsletter at our website, sfautismsociety.org. Find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook events group that's huge and very active. And you can also email us for more information.
Fantastic. I know one of the things that you and I interact on quite often, where our interests merge, it has to do with policy. And, I have can you kind of give us a flavor of things that you're fighting for and things that you have fought for?
Yes. Okay. So, good question. We have fought against new policies that um, tend to diminish the options that are available for autistic adults. So there's been a strong push in the disability advocacy community to defund programs that are appropriate and needed by those who suffer from severe autism. And we advocate strongly for the retention of those programs and not for the defunding of them. For example, California unfortunately passed a law prohibiting non competitive employment for adults with autism and severe intellectual disabilities. So people who used to be able to work for below minimum wage are now out of a job. And that means children like mine will never be able to work. It was a draconian, terrible bill, and we fought against it and we lost, unfortunately. So now my kids, at best, maybe they can be volunteers in their adult lives, but they'll never be able to work. We've also seen a weakening of our conservatorship system. We're at a place where the conservatorship system is very overloaded, mostly because of the dramatic increase in autism cases. We need to strengthen our conservatorship system, not weaken it. So we fought against that. We've also fought against weakening of options that are fundable through our Medicaid dollars. We believe that we need the full continuum of care available for adults with autism, and that should be available through Medicaid waivers and or other Medicaid services. And we have definitely fought very hard for better reporting and analysis of autism data from California. There's not enough of this at all, considering that we're in the midst of the staggering epidemic. We hardly ever hear about it. We've just had CDC just did a study finding 4% of children in San Diego County have autism, 4%. And every year, our DDS autism caseload grows by 11%. It's really quite scary, and it's underreported. We fight for more housing options, more housing subsidies across many jurisdictions. We obviously fight for better funding for regional center services, which are the vital lifeline for our population, and for better wages for support staff. Their work is not easy, and we are suffering a terrible DSP crisis, a direct service professional crisis, and more services broadly for severely autistic adults. A lot of them are sitting at home with nothing to do, and that would include my son. So, yeah, that gives you a flavor of what we do on the
Right.
advocacy front.
And I know the Autism Society of San Francisco has been a powerful voice here when it comes to policies. We don't always get what we want, but once again, I think oftentimes you bring the voice of reason in the system where things are not always reasonable. So there we go. As far as your organization is concerned, do you have any special outreach or to different communities or folks who speak different languages or that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, we talked about the Stanford conferences, and those have always been translated into Spanish, and we've always featured Spanish language groups and panels. We've also featured some Chinese language content as well. Um, and in terms of what we do outside of the conference, um, I have to admit it largely depends on who's volunteering for us and who's on our board. We don't have paid staff, and we have had, fortunately, a very diverse board with Spanish speakers and people who speak other languages. Unfortunately, not me. um, and so we have been able to serve people from a wide variety of backgrounds. But again, we do depend on our network of volunteers um, to help us with that.
Well, that might be a great place to end this talk today, which is I know you have a pretty robust website up here, and we'll put that up for folks to see. But, how could somebody get involved? Both a person with autism or somebody in the spectrum, or a family member or a professional, if you have an interest in one, learning more and ideally serving this community, how can you help these folks out?
Yeah, well, I think we have, as I said, we have volunteer opportunities. We're always interested in talking to people who are interested in board membership, who bring to the table a particular talent or strength. If somebody's really interested in fundraising, or somebody's really interested in, policy advocacy, if somebody's really interested in organizing events, if somebody's really interested in, establishing like a better resources and information and referral system. all that is wide open. We really welcome people, whether they're parents, whether they're professionals, whether they're just, people who care about autism. We really welcome them, to work with us. And we're easy to find. Um, info at sfautismsociety.org or admin at sfautismsociety.org. Either one works. My email is my name, jill.escher, my last name, at gmail.com. Can reach out to me directly as well.
Great. Well, Jill, I want to thank you for sharing this information with me. And I also want to personally thank you because I know you've been an advocate for years and years and years. Let's not go through how many here, but I know that, you personally have been a force in the community here. And sometimes it takes a passionate parent to try to make a little sense out of this system. So
Yes. Well, the system needs a lot of help. So so we need all of us. We need all of us. And thank you too, Steve.